This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium Free Talk. This Infinium Free Talk is entitled Indirect Disrespect. My brothers, the other day I stopped by the local bagel shop to pick up a supply of bagels. When I got in line to place my order, I noticed that the owners of the bagel shop had hired a new female employee. Immediately, the thought went through my mind, oh boy, here we go, OMG, because I knew immediately that she was going to mess up my order. This is because the female was an ignorant, mouthy BAW, or B-dub, as Black Ram 313 coins it. Which par for the course, the mouthy BAW did indeed mess up my order. My brothers, before I get into how the mouthy BAW messed up my order, I would like to give you two preface points. Number one, this bagel shop is a part of a franchise and is owned by a black man and his wife who I think is of Indian descent. This shop, which opened in 2015, has become a very popular location for breakfast, brunch, and lunch. As well, they offer a nice selection of fresh baked bagels and assorted pastries. From the very beginning to present, this couple has worked very diligently to build this business, and again, the popularity of the shop speaks to the nature of their efforts. For instance, the shop is always busy on every visit I make, and there have been several instances where they were jam-packed with customers. Additionally, the owners of the shop treat their customers right in every possible way. For instance, one day when I attempted to purchase a large order of bagels, the POS system was completely down. Instead of telling me to come back later, because I was a regular customer, they let me have what I needed and told me to come back at my convenience and pay for the bagels. I made it a point to pay for those bagels the very next day. Finally, even when having to shut down their operation during the pandemic lockdowns, their business is still thriving to this day. Number two, a business which is part of a franchise must adhere to the standards dictated to it by the corporation which licenses the franchise. That's why, for instance, every McDonald's franchise throughout the country looks similar in terms of the way they are set up. These standards are all-encompassing and range from the procedures that employees use to the signage that the business involved uses. As well, an owner of a franchise can actually lose their franchise license if it is found that they are in violation of those standards. Now, getting back to the mouthy BAW, when my order was taken, she began to argue with a white female assistant manager about how to fill my order, which the assistant manager was trying to tell the BAW to follow proper procedures because there was less likelihood of the order being messed up. Instead, the BAW indignantly told the manager she would do things her way, which resulted in my order being messed up, and resulting in the assistant manager having to go back and correct my order. My brothers, the BAW's actions were a form of indirect disrespect to the owners of that shop due to, number one, not properly following established procedures in fulfilling my order. In this case, the BAW attempted to use the order information on the cash register screen rather than the order fulfillment screen located at the workstation she should have used behind the register. In doing so, the BAW not only messed my order up, but she also held up the order taker at the register from taking another customer. Number two, not showing respect to the assistant manager who was only telling her to use proper workflow methods which have been established by the corporation which licenses this franchise. Again, in terms of established workflow policies, there is no I'm going to do things my way. Number three, by having an arrogant attitude, this BAW is indirectly disrespecting the owners of this shop in so much that she, as a new employee, was able to run their business better than what they could. As well, in being disrespectful to the assistant manager who is highly experienced, this BAW is again being indirectly disrespectful to the owners of this shop. Because again, in the BAW's faulty judgment, the owners, as well as their management staff, are incapable of doing things better than she can. Number 4, by doing things her way, this BAW could actually get the owners of this franchise in trouble with their corporate franchisors. This is because franchisors are regularly inspected by their corporate franchisors for violations or customer issues. Again, if the violations or issues are not corrected, a franchisee could wind up losing their franchise. As well, any type of legitimate criticism put out on sites like Google Reviews or Yelp are taken very seriously by corporate franchisors. For instance, I once complained in Google Reviews about really bad service at a Moe's and a McDonald's in my area. In both cases, the issues were immediately corrected by the corporate franchisors of those franchisees. In the case of McDonald's, I was responded to directly by corporate and informed that they were taking appropriate action. My brothers, this is why womanists, in particular BAWs, are failing in every way possible. For instance, had this BAW humbled herself and acted in a submissive manner, her job experience could wind up being a wonderful learning experience which would later benefit her in some way. Yet, like many womanists these days who lack vision and forethought, she instead chose to be disrespectful both in an indirect as well as direct manner to the owners of that shop. My brothers, this is another reason why we as men should no longer tolerate the disrespect of womanists. Whether it is our right to be free, or where we travel, or businesses we own, womanists do not have the right to disrespect us by telling us what to do when what they tell us is wrong in every way possible. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Free Talk. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.